Hello everyone, I'm Tara Jones from Peaceful Solutions and I have with me my partner Phantom. And tonight we're just relaxing out here in a quiet spot on my property. The sun is now set, the heat is finally diminishing a little bit. It's been quite awful the last few days with the humidity. I've actually tried to film a few times and my camera has actually overheated. So there have been times where I've tried to get videos out and I can't film them because the heat is so extensive. So Phantom's already had her workout for today. She already had a bath. We're kind of still fighting flies. She's covered in fly spray, but you're gonna see her shaking and trying to get the green heads are out now. So part of August, gotta love it. But we're going to try to go through a very simple exercise for you here. And the one exercise that we're going to go over is called lateral cervical flexion. It's a very simple concept, one I'm sure you've already probably heard of, but maybe not referred to it in those terms. You might have heard flexion, give to the bit, soften, bend. All of those terms simply to me mean the same thing. So what I'm looking for with my horse is you're going to have a certain amount of straightness that needs to be taught to your horse, and there's going to be a certain amount of bend or suppling that needs to be taught to your horse, both left and right, evenly, so that the horse can learn to use the muscling properly and to start to balance and have good posture. Again, simple concept. So Phantom is only outfitted in one of my Peaceful Solutions bridles. She has a copper snaffle bit, no big deal. And what I'm going to ask her for, and sometimes when I meet horses, this is something that I'll go to, and it's just something very simple that you can do starting off. Even on those days when you're getting rained out or there's not really much you can do around the barn, you can't really ride, but you can do certain groundwork exercises. And while they might seem small and they might seem minimal, they turn into something great as you go along. So let's just think of this as if Phantom's body is straight. I always say that a horse is at full power when they're straight. So I think of a racehorse, and I think of a racehorse from tail to between the ears. They're absolutely straight. So my definition of straightness is the ears are in line with the shoulders and the shoulders are in line with the hips. So in other words, if we took an aerial shot from above Phantom, all of her vertebrae would basically be in a line. Now if we're referring to the cervical vertebrae, which are the ones in the horse's neck, there's 7 of those. So basically we're thinking of the lateral cervical vertebrae that we're beginning to flex are the ones right here. Don't mind her pink spot, that's for another cue. But right here where the atlas meets the skull. Okay, so the atlas and the axis are the two that we're really thinking of when we think in terms of cervical vertebrae. One of the things that I like to do with my students is I like to teach them something that I call raking. Raking is a very, very simple concept. When I first started training horses, I used to add pressure until they bend. Well, while that's okay, what I realized over a long course of time is that horses tend to create drag on the rein. Go ahead and get that. They tend to create drag on the rein. So basically, if I were to bend her to the left and I were to let her go, yes, she keeps her head bent left, so I know that the cue sticks. But the other thing that's going to start to happen is I would like Phantom to voluntarily give me her head. I would like her to voluntarily start to bend to the left. So I'm going to use the minimal amount of pressure, the least amount that I can think of, to get her to bend to the left. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start in the middle of the rein, and I'm going to ask her by simply doing what I call raking. And it's almost like an open hand position. I'm simply asking, like I would be basically stroking her mane. Okay, or if I had a hose in my hand, I'm allowing that hose to slide through my fingers. This isn't pulling, because that would be what pulling results in. What I simply want her to do is when I pick up this rein, and sometimes this takes a while because it's a very, very, very light pressure, and what will happen, good girl, is the horse will wait for the heavier pressure. Come on, Pete, stay with me here. Okay, so when I start to rake and I pick up the left rein and I'm asking her to rake to the left, it. There I'm starting to get a little bit of bend, but I'm getting the bend from the base of the neck. It's not coming where I want it to. So I want this section where the head meets the neck to laterally flex. Now what I'd like to see happen is that her ears stay level and even. As she starts to bend to the left, that was a little bit better. But you can see how her shoulder's coming over. So I'm just going to ask her, just for the sake of this video so you can see her straighten up so you can see from your angle. I'm going to rake the rein until I start to see her bend towards me. Now you can see here, her nose is a little bit to the right, and some of the issues that Phantom and I have been having under saddle, Phantom's 20 years old, but that does not make any difference. We still run into the same problems that you're going to run into. Over time, very nice, she tends to get stiff, and that's just something very normal. As I keep working with her over the years, I keep revamping and rewiring the way that I train horses. So I end up teaching her every time I learn something new. So in the process, she's become a lot better because of all of the systems and the ways that I've learned to incorporate into the way I teach. So it's become a better way and a better method for her as she goes through all of these exercises. And you can see now what's starting to happen is she's starting to bend and laterally flex. Very good. And this is going to be what happens with you. She's completely distracted. She's got flies and it's sunset and she's just, wants to go back to the barn. All of these little things that happen are great distractions. It's just another thing to teach your horse through the learning process. Sometimes people say to me, well, your horse is already trained, but not by any means. There are, believe me, in an average day, the first horses that get ridden here are the training horses. So once they're done, if I have enough time or energy to get on my own, then I normally do. But Phantom maybe gets ridden twice a week, if that, and it's usually a quick ride just to revamp and reiterate all of the things that we normally learn. And anytime I'm looking to train her to do something new, I try to set aside time to do so. But you can see how she's starting to bend a little bit better laterally. There. Now the ears are starting to become level. What I don't want is head tilt. I think you can probably see from that angle, right ear is lower than left ear. So basically this would start happening, and when that starts happening, then the chin on the left side would go up, the whole side of the neck would lock up and become stiff, and so would the back on that side. So I'm never after trying to get the horse to bend stiffly. Let's just go to the other side for a second and let's see what we get over here. Now from one side to the other, a lot of times things don't transfer. So let's see what we get here. That was actually pretty nice. Nope, we're not eating grass pea. And again, she wants to go down and have grass, and she wants to stretch her head and neck down, and all of that's fine and dandy. But I'm just going to replace what she wants to do with this exercise. We don't need to argue. We don't need to fight. I don't need to yank on her or pull on her or jerk on her. I just simply need to ask her to keep doing this exercise. And eventually she's not going to realize she's out here in grass. That was better. Put your head back straight. Very good. I know. It's awful having all these flies. You can see that that was much better. So right there is more so what I'm looking for. I'm going to come back onto the left side, and we're going to, there, very nice. So you can see now that it's starting to come more quickly, and that's more so what we're looking for. So again, very simple, easy exercise. We will eventually transfer this up under saddle. I wanted to show you basically what you're looking for with the raking with your hands on the ground, how you would attain lateral cervical flexion and what it is, and then we will build on it. So I'd like to thank Phantom for joining me on this video and having to drag you out from the barn to come back here and put you in all this grass for you to do this video, but she's a trooper and she always hangs in there for whatever I need her to do. And I'd like to thank all of you for watching. So once again, I'm Tara Jones from Peaceful Solutions, and I hope to see you on the next one. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. Thanks everybody. Have a great night. Bye-bye.